Welcome back to Forever United TV. Now, you would have noticed that today, Monday, the 4th of August, we didn't do a midday update. That's because there was El Jacko in Manxlang. Nothing to report. It was a dead day. We've been waiting. Manchester United fans, Newcastle fans, everybody watching it in on the Benjamin Sesko saga. What's happening? Why is there nothing going on? We was told that there's going to be a bid soon. Benjamin Sesko's going to make his mind up, but nothing at all. And then, just at the end of the day, ready for the show tonight, we start to get some news trickling out of Germany. 80 million on the table, ready to go from Manchester United for Benjamin Sesko. They're the reports coming from Germany right now. We have a few different looks on this and a few different takes from different journalists that we're going to bring up in the show. We're going to get your inputs into this. Get into the live chat, everybody. Please let me know. Have you missed? There's been a bit of a break from this morning's content to this afternoon, so get your thoughts across. We're going to spend plenty of time bringing up your comments and what you think is going on right now with United. We're also going to talk about that Jadon Sancho update as well, which Sky were talking about earlier on. There's plenty going on and plenty happening between Manchester United and so-called German clubs at the moment. Definite switcheroo. It was United and Italy early on in the window. Now it's United and Germany. I'm going to bring you up to date with everything and where we're actually at. Manchester United obviously back in town, having come back from the tour, and obviously we're now looking forward to the first game at Old Trafford this season, really. Well, friendly first of all against Fiorentina, and we're expecting to see the new faces and the team be a bit more oiled and well-gelled and ready to go for that game. And then, of course, it's the big one, Arsenal. Who's going to be up front for Manchester United? Well, according to many people, it is hopefully Benjamin Sesko, as we've been reporting, but the updates today, that's where we want to get into. That's what we want. And please do get into the comments section. That's all I want you to do. Just get in and give me your thoughts. It's a big debate. It's a big conversation. I'm going to bring you the news. I'm going to go through everything and what's happening. But this is the one as it stands at the moment. So the main one has come. Now, Rudy Galletti has come out earlier on. No, actually, let's break it down bit by bit, in fact. Sky Sports, Damashef, came out earlier on, backed up by Harry Solikov. Obviously, they come as a two with Sky Sports. They would be collaborating with Sky Germany, obviously, and I've mentioned this before. If you don't know what I mean by that, when Plattenberg says something, expect Sky Sports to come back and say something. It's Sky Germany, it's Sky Sports. You're always going to get that. When Damasio says something, that's Sky Italy. So when Damasio says something, Sky Sports will say something. So this is coming pretty much from Sky Germany, not Sky Sports. Our sources over in Germany, you'll get that line of conversation started when Sky Sports comes on with Damashef and Harvey Solikov. So this is what they said earlier on today. Manchester United preparing their bid and readying that first bid for Benjamin Sesko. Of course, we know already that Benjamin Sesko wants proof that United want him. United want proof that Benjamin Sesko is going to commit to United. It works both ways. Maybe there has been some talk and then all of a sudden there's an agreement in place between the player and Manchester United that it's going to come at the same time. Bang, in goes the bid and Manchester United can move forward. There is a lot of stories going around on social media, on websites, about Manchester United having everything in line, medical, everything ready to go. As soon as we get green light, it's bid, it's accepted, it's terms already discussed, it's instalments, it's ready to go, it's wages, it's confirmed, it's medical, it's done within a week. There's lots of people saying that. Now, I'm not going to bring the names up on that. I don't think they're creditable at the moment, but there is a lot of that talk going on as well at the moment. And a lot of people linking the amount of conversations going on with no real verdict and no real answers behind the scenes to Manchester United readying everything to make sure that when the bid goes in, it's accepted, the instalments are agreed. United would be negotiating behind the scenes verbally with Leipzig right now, as will Newcastle. And I'm not taking Newcastle out of this. I'm not being red tinted and just saying it's all United. This is just the most significant news of the day. Nothing on Newcastle. Newcastle have come out and said that they're confident in agreeing a deal with Leipzig, but that's Leipzig. Taking us back to what Romano said last night, which is nothing matters about any bids for Benjamin Sesko unless the player says yes. Sky in Germany are saying that he's edging Manchester United's way. Sky here is saying the same thing off the back of that. And there's lots of reports coming out from other German journalists saying that Benjamin Sesko prefers Manchester United. Of course, it looks that way because Newcastle have shown their hand and it's not been accepted. So, again, you would look at that. So, That's what Damashchev said from Sky Sports earlier on today. And then to back that up, Rudy Galletti came out this afternoon, mid-afternoon, and said Manchester United are finalising their first official bid for Benjamin Sesko. There was rumours of numbers and what it might be, but it's around where RB Leipzig want it to be. Basically, Manchester United making sure that it's substantial enough for Leipzig not to just pass it off as another rejection. It's not happening. United need to make sure that they go to the table after all of this negotiation and make this bid happen. Pretty much like we did with that bid for Bryan Mbeumo in the end. It was like wham, bang. There you go. There's the bid, and it was accepted within a day. That's, I think, where Manchester United are at right now. I think they fast-forwarded the first two bids from Mbeumo and that saga on Sesko, and we're already at the third one, the important one. I think United have learnt their lesson. They've seen what's been rejected, so they're not going to go in with a similar bid as Newcastle did, because that's been rejected. So there has to be something more substantial. And then open up on Sky Germany and the German sources and what they have said this afternoon. And what they have said this afternoon is Manchester United verbally informed RB Leipzig, if an agreement is reached with Benjamin Sesko, we will make an offer for around 80 million euros. Now, it's reported that RB Leipzig, and another story's come out today, they want 80 million guaranteed. So that's 70 million quid, near enough. Well, 80 million euros works out about £69.5 million. They want that as the guarantee, without add-ons. Now, the add-ons would probably be small on top of that, taking it to, I reckon, around about a £75 million player. Very similar to what Rasmus Hojlund would have been if he hit the mark. Now, again, I've always had this stance on things. I always look at the guaranteed money as the transfer fee. Add-ons, I really don't care about, because add-ons hardly ever get hit. If they do get hit, then you're a happy person, you're a happy fan, because it means that he's been a success. Because the add-ons are always difficult to get. If you go in with a big guaranteed price, as in that's the fee up front and then add-ons come after, if that guarantee and that initial fee is big, then don't expect to get the add-ons. That's all. I think that's everybody. Everybody knows that. It's very clear. Manchester United did this with Patrick Dorgu in negotiating in the summer. They did the same with Bryan Mbeumo as well this summer. So it's what's going to happen here, I think. If this is what it is anyway, and obviously this is just a report from Germany, we will get the update from Fabrizio later on. He may completely play this down here again, but Sky Germany have been on top of this, and they have been pretty much in line with where Fabrizio Romano's sources have been as well throughout. It has been, I think, quite similar for a lot of journalists going through this Benjamin Sesko situation, but they're saying that Manchester United are 80 million guaranteed. There you go. Now, I don't know for certain, and I'm not going to say that United are putting in 80 million euros as that flat fee. That could be United saying, we're going to bid 80 million, but that might include the add-ons. That might be where United are starting negotiations. I hope not, because that's going to put us where Newcastle are, and that's been rejected. So what's the point? That's official. So if United are going to bid and they're looking to impress Leipzig, they're going to have to come in just above what Newcastle did. Now, Rudy Galletti did say that Manchester United are making up and constructing a deal and offer which is going to be a little bit more than what Newcastle have already bid. Makes sense. Like I just said, why would you bid the same as what's already been rejected for another club? United are allowing Newcastle to do all of the dirty work in terms of the negotiations here. This is something that's happened with United before, but on the other foot. We've made all of the work and then someone's come in and gone, we'll pay that and just make that deal happen. It's like all of the negotiations are being done here, I think, with Leipzig by Newcastle. So we know officially, because that is official and it's a written official transfer fee and offer to Leipzig from Newcastle, that they're in at about 69.5 million with add-ons right now. It needs to be more. So Newcastle are confident they can make a deal with Leipzig, but it comes down to the player. And like in that piece there that's come from Sky Germany, Manchester United verbally informed Leipzig they are, if an agreement is reached with Benjamin Sesko, we will make an offer for 80 million euros, which is approximately 70 million. If that's a guaranteed bid and then his add-ons to come, then Manchester United are pretty much in. And that, I think, is where this transfer moves forward very quickly. Manchester United, I am guessing, I would only guess because we're into the last 4 weeks of the window, that they are obviously talking and discussing instalments and are ready to go. I think if the fee is right, the instalments will be right. They've been speaking for the last week and a half, 2 weeks now, and we have been covering it in detail. And if that has been the case and these discussions have gone that far, then I do believe that there will be a package laid out already for it. And like I said a minute ago, that's why a lot of people will start to report in social media, on other websites as well, that United are ready to go at each step here to move this forward, to get this finalised with Benjamin Sesko within a week. Newcastle have given Benjamin Sesko 48 hours to decide on his future and give them a final answer. So, again, does he need to use that time? Probably not at this stage, because obviously, I've said this before, Leipzig want the player gone. So if United come in and say that we're paying this, the player says, I'm going United, it doesn't matter about Newcastle. He doesn't even have to tell them because it's official with United anyway. But I think Manchester United will start to want an answer now. And I think, obviously, everyone's going to start pushing onto this. Later on, I guarantee you that Romano will come out and say, guys, people are talking to me about Benjamin Sesko. And what I can tell you is that club-to-club contacts are still going on. Talks are still going on. It's all down to Benjamin Sesko. He's taking his time. He's speaking to his family and his agents and making sure that his decision is the right one for him and his future. You know the score. The story has been read before. And I think it's going to be the same for Romano again tonight. Only thing is, again, this bid will come in if, like what Romano says, Sesko says yes. So, have United, with this, telling RB Leipzig that they are ready to bid, whether they've shown them proof or whatever, 80 million euros, do they then tell Benjamin Sesko, and Benjamin Sesko goes, that's enough for me. I know that United have got the money and they're going to bid. I'm going United. That's what we're waiting for. That's what we're waiting for right now. And I think that is the biggest part of this deal and where we're actually at. I do believe that United are in the more powerful position still because of what's happened. But it is going to come down to, I think, United convincing Sesko a little bit here that they are going to bid for him. He doesn't want to say, I'm going United, and United can't afford him. He looks like an idiot because then he's go back and go to Newcastle. Sorry, they haven't got the money. I want to go to you now. It's going to make him look a little bit stupid as well. And by all accounts, from what Vivel has said and all the reports throughout his career, this is a very intelligent player, a very intelligent man. He's smart in thinking, the characteristics that United are looking for, and why Vivel has pushed this so much. He is definitely giving this deep thought as to what it's going to look like for him as well. And in a way, I can understand where he is and taking his time and making sure, like, well, yeah, you might say you want me, but does that mean that because I've said yes to you, United, you're then going to go and bid Leipzig in the bollocks because I'm committing to you? I think he understands where United are at and what they're trying to do and where Leipzig are at. And I tell you what, his connections and his affiliation with Leipzig is stronger than what it is with United. And he's not going to allow Leipzig to be, let's just say, shafted for a lower fee because he's come out and said, I'm only going United. He wants to help Leipzig, obviously. And I don't think that he's going out of his way to help Leipzig in that sense. Like, it's all about them. Of course, it's all about him. But there is an agreement here, and I don't think he's wanting to rock the boat with what's happening with Leipzig. This is just how I'm reading the situation. No one's saying this. It's just my thoughts on this. And I'll come to the chat in a minute and give you your chance to have your say on it. But I just can't see it going any other way right now. It's taken this long because Leipzig's still unsure about United. He wants to go, but they haven't shown that they really want him. It works both ways. So, again, with Christopher Vivel, I think that communication, and hopefully now United have done enough with what Sky Germany is saying to convince Sesko to say, yeah, we'll go United. And if I say yes, I know that that club, United, are going to bid this amount of money and Leipzig are going to be happy with that. This moves forward very quickly. He cannot now afford, at the stage where he's at, with Leipzig leaving him out of friendlies to make his move, be drawn into this transfer saga. It's just going to mess things around. I just think everybody wants to know that this is going to move forward guaranteed. It's weird because all the negotiations has gone behind the scenes And when it does happen, it will move quickly. Maybe this is what happens with transfers every single day. But because it's United, everybody's just talking about it, documenting it, and everybody's got an opinion on it. So that, I think, is what's happened. It's been built up into a big deal because there's two big Premier League clubs going for Benjamin Sesko. I think that's where we're at with it right now. I'm going to keep an eye on this as it develops because I think there is a little bit more to come. Even while we're still on here, I'm going to bring you updates on this one. But I'm going to go into the chat and give you your chance to have your say on this and where we're actually at right now. Thank you already. We've got nearly 400 likes on the show and we're only 15 minutes in. That's mega. Thank you, everyone. Cheers to everyone who has subscribed as well. We're motoring with that. Please get on to hitting the subscribe button also to make sure that you miss none of the action in terms of transfers and what's going on with United. Fonster says with a super, if Newcastle say 48 hours, well, that puts the player off. Again, you just don't know, mate. But Newcastle are right, I think, now. Look, both clubs are in a position where they need to know. So I think both Newcastle and Manchester United are quite within the right to say, like, come on, mate, give us an answer. Like, you've had enough time to think about this now. Their project is on the table. So is ours. The money's there. The money's there. Commit. So one club can actually move forward and the other can go and find somebody else. I think that's from the club's point of view where it's at. And this cannot go any further than Wednesday this week without a decision. It can. I thought it was going to be this weekend, maybe today. This has dragged on longer than what I ever thought it would be. Just off the basis of a decision from a player. That, I think, is the strange one in this. How they've allowed Sesko the chance to decide on where he goes. I get it. He's going to have a big say in it. But for letting it drag out this long, Newcastle's offer's been on the table for nearly 2 weeks. That, again, I'm all for Manchester United being in the box seat here and having that in the bag, that he's not accepting Newcastle's bid and saying he wants to go Newcastle. I feel confident as a United fan because of that, but still, I feel for both clubs here, and it's like, come on, Benjamin, let's start moving this along now, shall we? You've had enough time. I'd walk away from the deal and go and get two decent midfielders. We are going to score goals with Cunha and Mbumo. I get what you're saying, but we still need the final piece. That forward line and pressing from the front could be a lot better if we've got a better striker. I, by the way, still think United will go out and buy a midfielder after Benjamin Sesko as well. That is what the talk is behind the scenes at the moment also. Can someone tell me what's happened to the so-called gentleman's agreement Sesko has with his club? We will only find out when something gets accepted or something moves forward on this deal about that. And it will probably be Romano that opens up on it. He's valued at 70 million, so 80 is a good deal, considering players valued at 50 and 60 are going for 60 and 70, and he's younger. That's a big thing as well. Potential and some, and very well sought after. That is, you're going to have to, you're always going to pay a premium for number 9s. It's as simple as that. It's 80 million, not including add-ons. Look, I'm not going to say if it is or if it isn't. All I can see from what the reports are saying here is United have told Leipzig verbally that they will bid 80 million euros for Benjamin Sesko if he says yes to United. I'm not even going to say I know if it's with or without the add-ons. Why would it be? Why would it be with add-ons when that's already been rejected? That's the point we're trying to make. I don't see Leipzig accepting that bid. If United do come in and go start bidding for Sesko without getting the green light like Newcastle have, there's no point in going in with a bid that's already been rejected. Like, why would you do that? The only way that United would go in with a bid that's been rejected before is if Sesko comes out and says that he wants to go to Manchester United, definitely, guaranteed. So yeah, that's what I think anyway with that. So it's why I'm thinking that there is more to it, and there is definitely something in the way of United knowing that a certain bid is going to get this deal over the line because of the negotiations that they've been having behind the scenes. Then talks have to have given United some idea about what they're going to have to at least put down. So yes, there's a poll up, by the way, everybody. So get involved in that. 70/80 million euros for Sesko. Would you go higher if needed? Ooh, it's a tight one. 52% at the moment winning that vote with the no's. So 52 no, 48 yes. Would you go higher than 70 million quid for Benjamin Sesko to make this deal happen now at this stage? Is he worth a few million more just to get him over the line? Like, it's right up there, isn't it, with some of the biggest deals that Manchester United have ever made. He's right. I think, what was that? I put him into the top 10 possibly. Biggest deal that Ineos have ever done at the football club in the middle of a so-called drought financially through the season. Yeah, that is massive for Manchester United. So I'm asking you in the chat, would you go in with anything higher if this doesn't get the deal done? Make sure you let me know on that one. Over 2,000 votes already on that, and it is tight. Pretty much a 50-50 split right now on that one. Sesko is his agent's only big client. So he's trying to maximise the money he gets from it. I had no idea who his agent actually is. I've not even looked into that. I've just heard Romano talk about him. Apparently he's flown in at weekend after doing another deal for another client. Don't know who that is. I don't know what management team he's under or what agency he's under, Benjamin Sesko. So again, not going to go into that, but it is a big deal for the agent. That's a definite comment. That's a piece of that comment, sorry, that I think is 100% right. And I've said this before, agents are running the game right now, and they are manipulating what happens in these transfers because you've got their fees on top for Man United to pay. I still will never understand how the agent is representing the player, yet the player pays him nothing. Do you know what I mean? It makes no sense. So the agent's working for the player, and the player pays him nothing. He just makes money off the football clubs. That rule somewhere has to change up a little bit, surely. They have to put something in, or sort of cap what agents can actually earn, surely. It's madness, isn't it? Let Rasmus stay, and let's go and get a good midfielder and a goalkeeper. I think you'll be regretting that decision with Rasmus Hojlund in the season, personally. Our midfield is a mess. 10's put at 8, a 6 average next summer. That needs fixing with a stopgap needed ASAP. If we got Sesko and then we actually went and got another midfielder, though, would that not be better? I think it would at this point. By the way, everybody, don't forget, after the show, we are going to be doing a call-in on all of this stuff that's going on right now. Sesko, we're getting into all of the transfer news. We're talking about the game last night, the problems we've got, the tour. We're having a call-in show on Big Up straight after this show, everybody. So the link is in the live chat, completely free. So come across after we've finished here and join us on that and have your say. Let's see what else we've got in here now. See what we've got here. Do you guys think we will get him? If we didn't get him, though, then who? If we didn't get him, though, then who will get Ollie Watkins? No one at the moment is getting Ollie Watkins because Villa don't want to sell him and they're pricing him too high. 60 million and they're not budging, which is why both Man United and Newcastle are looking at Benjamin Sesko. The agents generally get a percentage of a weekly wage anyway, so the actual transfer fees they get are just a big bonus for them. And it needs capping. It needs capping. Get in here. Rasmus and other striker got absolutely no service. Will Sesko get any service? Come on, Baz. With Cunha, with Mbeumo, with Bruno, with Ama in that team, you're going to get service. It's a different front line. Rasmus did get service. Rasmus fluffed his lines several times. I'm not letting Rasmus off for his poor performances last season, by the way. I'm not having a go, but if we're going to complain about the goalkeeper, we have to complain about the number 9. If we're going to complain about Bruno, we have to complain about number 9. He did not do enough for Manchester United, and the basics wasn't there. He will get better, like we said, but right now, we need players in that are going to give us more than what Rasmus Hojlund is. And that is Benjamin Sesko. It is. But I do get what everyone's saying about the midfielders, by the way, though. I'm not ignoring that or saying that it's not right. And if Sesko didn't happen, and United went out and spent the same money on a midfielder, I would be good with that. I haven't got an issue with that at all. It is sensible from United. So, yes, I'm I'm in on Sesko because we're so deep in. But if it didn't happen for some reason, United don't end up getting their top striker target, but that money was used for a central midfielder, I think that is definitely something that most Manchester United fans would be okay with. Surely, after watching what we have been performing like in midfield from last season and a couple of occasions this pre-season already, 100%. On the striker situation and what's happening with Rasmus Hojlund. Now, this has just come out recently and is doing a few of the rounds on social media as well. While we're on to the strikers, Bayer Leverkusen is interested in signing Rasmus Hojlund. Yes, and you know why. Erik ten Hag wants to make him a cornerstone of his new attacking setup in Germany. Now, look, that's been put out there by Caught Offside, and I've seen a few people talking about this potentially. For RB Leipzig, sorry, not RB Leipzig, for Bayer Leverkusen. Why would Rasmus Hojlund want to go to Bayer Leverkusen when he's already said no to RB Leipzig? It's a question that most people would be answering. Well, again, Leipzig haven't got European football. Leverkusen have got Champions League football. Leverkusen have got Erik ten Hag, a manager that the player knows well, a manager that brought in Rasmus Hojlund and bought him once before. And that, I think, is something that is potentially there for Rasmus Hojlund, more than what Leipzig would be. It's a hard sell, Leipzig, at the moment, because they haven't got European football. And that's going to be the struggle of Manchester United potentially offering a player the opposite way. Now, we'll see if that still comes back around. And obviously now with no football being played, the players are not together anymore, obviously coming back from tour. Maybe that togetherness is gone. Maybe business gets talked about a bit more. And by that I mean, like, when players are together, when you're on tour, it's within the MUTV bubble. Everyone's happy. Everyone's behind each other. But when players when players actually leave the tour, go back home, and everyone starts talking again, everyone's on their own, the agents get the players on their own, it's a different environment again. They're looking for another striker. You need to be finding another football club right now. All of these agent and player conversations then start kicking into gear. So I can see legs in so many deals that have been reportedly on the cards for Rasmus Hojlund. I just can't see the Leipzig one. And I'm with Rasmus on that. I wouldn't want to go to Leipzig from Manchester United. You're not exactly bettering yourself. Like, Leipzig don't even come into the equation when it comes to the stature and size of a football club as Manchester United. But even when we're arguing in this modern day that other clubs have got a better opportunity on the pitch than Manchester United, Leipzig have got no European football. They're in the Bundesliga. Again, no disrespect, but it isn't the Premier League. I wouldn't want to go there if I was Rasmus Hojlund. Leipzig, Ten Hag, former champions, Champions League football, that's a bit more. You could actually try and persuade Rasmus Hojlund by having something to offer him. So that story going around about Rasmus again, he's not going away. He's been linked with so many different clubs. And all we're hearing from Manchester United is, from the journalist in and around the football club, that Rasmus Hojlund is for sale this summer. United would be open to loaning him at the right deal and letting him go for as little as 30 million quid. That's what we're dealing with right now, and that's where we're at. Mr Dacia Sandero says, no way we go above 70 million for Sesko. Eek, no! Not for a player that hasn't kicked a ball in our league. I really think we should look elsewhere. No more waiting. He either wants to come or not. I think a few people would agree with you on that one. We'll not to lose money if we sell Rasmus for 30 million with PSR rules. Is that supposed to say, will we not? There's a few typos in there, Sadiq. Yep, United will lose money, mates, on PSR. But they're willing to take the hit to bring money into the account. They're probably looking at it and saying, we have just saved money on Marcus Rashford. We've got money in from Sancho. We've got money in from sell-ons. And on the books overall, we could probably cover it as a loss to help us go and fund bringing in another player. So, yeah, you're right. They would lose money. They need to make about 45 million, I think, to break even with Rasmus Hojlund. And that actually is his book value. But who is going to come and pay 45 million for a player that scored four league goals this season? You're just not, are you? That's the answer. I'll tell you right now, without you even saying it. Rasmus isn't going to make it in the Premier League. Simple as, says Brian. Sesko needs to pull his finger out and stop dilly-dallying, says Kevin. DB Cooper says 30 million after all the amortization BS would be bringing us about 7 million in and plus. Not really, mate. We are way behind with Rasmus Hojlund because of the transfer fee, and we're only 2 years into his contract. So it would be a loss in PSR, to be honest. But it's enough for Manchester United to bring in somebody else because of, I don't know if you're meaning this as well, DB, because we can obviously replace the instalments we're paying for Rasmus Hojlund for another player. And again, on the Benjamin Sesko situation, that again is something that Rudy Galletti went into, that Manchester United, the importance of this structure and the so-called fee that United are willing to pay Leipzig would be in and around that 3-year instalment plan package, possibly even 4, and that will be the important factor for Manchester United. All about the affordability, like we've mentioned many a times before for United. That's where United look at their transfers, and that's how they balance their books. Let's just going to quickly check that we haven't missed anything out from this. Erik ten Hag has now requested Leverkusen to sign Rasmus Hojlund, so it's Ten Hag pushing this so-called deal for Rasmus Hojlund. Erik ten Hag wants to make him his lead attacker at Leverkusen. Good luck to them. United were offered a few bits from Romano. United were offered the chance to sign Dusan Vlahovic in recent days. United's response was that they're focusing on Sesko. So United again were pushed Dusan Vlahovic. Manchester United, this is from Romano by the way, just out. Manchester United were offered the chance to sign Dusan Vlahovic again in the last 3 days. So offered Dusan Vlahovic again and turned down. Response was very clear, Romano says. We are focused on Benjamin Sesko. Simple as. Okay, so why are we not getting an answer of Benjamin Sesko? I understand, like David Ornstein said, these deals are insanely complicated to get done and get over the line. When you're talking big Brewsters like this and you're upwards of 70 mil, these are difficult deals to have. These are difficult deals to get done. And United are about to make their third substantial signing of the summer. And I mean really substantial signing of the summer. So they are making sure everything is bang on and right. And there's no way that Dusan Vlahovic is going to get in the way of a Benjamin Sesko transfer. Again, if United are just knocking back other strikers like that straight out, then they must be confident of getting a deal done for Sesko. Surely they have to have an air of confidence about them going into the rest of this deal. But that's the latest from Romano. We'll bring you more out on that as it comes. Of course, we're expecting a lot more. He does usually say a lot more. But the big headline from Romano's video is that Vlahovic was offered again in the last 3 days. And United said, no, we're having Sesko. So you could say that over the weekend, Vlahovic was pushed to Manchester United. And they said no. That's interesting again. That is a big update, that is a big update for us to get our heads around, I think. And I think a lot of people would all be in the same boat. I'm glad that United have actually said no and just pushed that away. Bigger fish to fry at the moment in Benjamin Sesko. Let's just quickly check on everything else. It's Pete Hall who talks for iPaper, who does a lot of work around Manchester United as well, a Manchester United journalist. Sesko is understood to be keen on the Manchester United project. That's what he has said. And United are confident that the bid that they make will be accepted and in where Leipzig need it to be to take Sesko and move quickly with this transfer. I wanted to talk about, actually, I want to bring up Donnarumma again. Now, this situation from Ben Jacobs, again, is still developing with Donnarumma. And every single show we do at the moment, every single day, there seems to be another little twist with Donnarumma. And this one is a new one that's come out. PSG value Gianluigi Donnarumma in excess of £30 million. Fair. He is content to stay at PSG for the final year of his contract, but the club prefer to sell him now. with them going in for Chevalier as a new goalkeeper, it does look like they're pushing Donnarumma out of the door and saying, we're not going to buckle to your wage demands. Donnarumma then stays, and then he's a free agent next summer. Should we go in and pay just over 30 million for Donnarumma and pay him the wages that he wants to have one of the best goalkeepers on the planet in his prime at United? Is that worth the investment? Say for instance, it came about, no deal, and we're into the last 10 months of Donnarumma's contract now. So he can talk to anybody in January. In literally 5 months' time, he can talk to anybody he wants outside of France for a free deal. So I can see why PSG are pushing on this. It does look like a stalemate is there. And more people keep talking about it. As much as we want to bat it off and say that it's nonsense and it's never going to happen, again, like the story that came up excuse me, this morning was about Donnarumma being interested in Manchester United because of the stature of the football club. Sorry about that. Don't have a fly that's through my throat or something. But it's there, isn't it? Would you? I'm going to ask the chat actually on this one right now. 30 million and over 300 grand a week wages for Donnarumma. Would you go there? Would you go there? Because that is one of the best. We're talking best in class. We're talking about making Manchester United awesome again. Would you spend that much money on Donnarumma? 30 million for a keeper of that quality, that's a steal. But what about the wages? It's over 300 grand a week wages he's going to want. That's it. No 250 for a keeper a week. Why does a keeper not warrant the same wages as an outfield player? Have we not seen over the last couple of years the importance of paying for a goalkeeper that is worth it? That's the way I look at it. Some people might have a decent goalkeeper and come out and easily say that it's not worth paying that much for a goalkeeper. Are you stupid? But when you're in United's position and you've seen what you've seen the last 2 seasons, you're going, I tell you what, that's not a bad shout. I don't mind spending that amount of money per year on a goalkeeper in his prime that's at that elite level. Donnarumma, elite. Just to be clear, he's an absolutely awesome goalkeeper. So, yeah, I mean, I think there'd be plenty of people that would be queuing up to spend that amount of money. Yeah, it doesn't help the books when you're spending that much in wages, but Donnarumma is a goalkeeper that will help you get back into the Champions League. I have a horrible feeling about Chelsea with Donnarumma. I just do. It just seems set up perfect for him. Look, if United get back into Europe, that's the main thing this season, and they've got more to offer. Maybe they could go into conversations in January if no one has bought Donnarumma and get him on a free the summer after. Dreamland, I know, but still, you never know. You never know. This transfer window has surprised us an awful lot so far. Let's quickly get through a few more comments. When Donnarumma's free next summer, with signing on fee and agents' fees, 30 mil would be better option now with a Prem season behind him. Could say that, Steve-O. You could. Yes, United paid David De Gea 300k a week. That went well, didn't it? Yeah, it did. Again. But are we saying here right now that Manchester United can be turning that down? United are all for affordability on the weekly, on the monthly, and then the annuals. They don't look at what they are paying for a transfer fee or what the wages say on the book. It's about what they can afford. And at the moment, on the books, they probably could afford Donnarumma. They could definitely afford him if they got rid of everybody this summer that they want to get rid of. That's a really interesting one. They may think about this before. Clubs are calling from Germany, Italy and Saudi Arabia for Alejandro Garnacho, but he wants Chelsea and is waiting patiently for them. That was what we said earlier on, and Romano just backs that up by saying that is still the case. I'm sure there is more coming with Garnacho through the evening and into tomorrow as well. That one, like I said this morning, is starting to really gather momentum now on the Garnacho side of things. So, yes, let's see how far that one starts to, well, let's see how far that one starts to push towards a climax and actually seen an actual fee from Chelsea put out on the table. By the way, we're over 800 likes. Absolutely mega. I'm sure if we all just like the video now, if you haven't already, we could hit that 1,000 live like mark. That would be absolutely brilliant, everyone. Thank you again for all your support. Hit the subscribe button as well, everyone. Let's get up there. We're marching up towards 95k. Then on to the last 5k before we hit 100. Absolutely mega. Thank you, everyone, again for all of your help and support on the channel. It's not, so it doesn't go unnoticed, trust me. Leo, just like that. Keeper is the most difficult position to change. United have had 3, that's we're good. Wages, not a problem. We lose more off wage bill next summer. And we do, obviously, like I've said many times before. Should we be spending some of them wages on a midfielder, though? That, I think, is what a lot of Man United fans will be saying right now. We need the midfielder. Should we be using that money that we're spending on Donnarumma's wages, in a world that we would buy him, that is, not saying we are going to, on instalments for buying Wharton or Baleba, whose wages won't be that high, whose transfer fee will be high, but United can break that down into instalments for 2 very young players at the top of their game in them positions in an area of the pitch that Manchester United are screaming and crying out for. Not just crying, but screaming for right now. That position needs solidifying for Manchester United. Should we be spending money there, or any money that we have got there, on the best that's available? The only issue I will bring up with the midfield right now is there anyone that is truly available of the top-notch nature for midfield? If we go out and buy a midfielder now, is it the best we can get? Because next summer we could probably get the best that's out there. But this summer, we're scraping around for other players. This is why I think United have been linked with Douglas Luiz, with Wilfred Ndidi, with João Palhinha at one point as well, like Romano said. Because they're not like the future of this football club. They're quick fixes to help Ruben in a system, I think, more than anything. They're not going to be long-term. I think United's big money is spent next summer on a midfielder. I would love to be proved wrong and something comes in this summer. I really would. I just don't think United are going to spend a massive amount of money on a midfielder. Look, if you get money for Sancho, if you get money for Garnacho, if you get money for Antony, then you're looking good. You're looking good. And that could easily be the case for Manchester United going forward. We have the money off them players and we can go out and buy another midfielder. You just don't know what's going to happen. But from what we've from what we've been seeing, reading and talking about, neither of them deals looks anywhere near close. And as it stands at the moment, even Jadon Sancho right now with Dortmund, like Dortmund are looking at Sancho as a loan, discussing a loan. And Manchester United, according to Damas Chef at Sky Sports, are open to loaning Jadon Sancho. There would be a loan fee, and because their asking price is below 20 million, a loan fee could be feasible. Manchester United might get the loan fee and have to contribute to the wages of Jadon Sancho, and then he becomes a free agent at the end of the summer. United were always going to lose out on Jadon Sancho. It was always going to be the case, and now we're dealing with that, and the end of this saga, I think, is coming, where United will ultimately lose out on the player and his fee, and hopefully learn from it. But Dortmund are mulling over that decision still, and that is where that one is at. It's not anywhere near closer to being finalised, but the big talk and the big change in the Jadon Sancho scenario right now is that it could still be a loan, and then he's done, his contract's over, and Manchester United have to let him go for free. But that's Sancho out the door. You got 5 mil. Take a 10 to 15 million pound loan fee, whatever it is. Contribute to a bit of his wages. Save yourself a bit of money there. Have a little bit of transfer funds there available as well to go and put towards someone else. Make what you can out of the situation now to prosper Ruben Amorim in this next season coming in. 10 million loan fee for Jadon Sancho, and pay 20% of his wages for someone if he's willing to drop his wages down. This, I think, is where United are at. Do what we did with Marcus Rashford, something like that, but with a loan fee on top. I think that's what you could possibly get out of the Jadon Sancho situation right now. And United really are struggling to make anything of it, because nobody wants to commit to a player that has got such a poor reputation behind the scenes? I'm not saying it was fully created by Manchester United. United do create their own problems a lot of the time. But Jadon Sancho has been a mess at every single football club he's been at. And United just didn't look deeply into this and was shafted big time by Borussia Dortmund for the price. Donna is crap on crosses. Who said that? Like, really? No. I don't know if it was you, Madels. You got the question mark on your actual comment there. MA, Dortmund played a blinder with us in selling Sancho and then getting him back on a free. Yeah. They would if they got him on a free. Don't forget it was a loan and they did pay us for that loan as well. United did get bonuses out of Sancho's time at Dortmund on loan. So they didn't get... It wasn't an horrendous deal. Put it that way. Definitely wasn't for Manchester United. Let's get a few more comments in. Talk to me about anything you want to on Sesko, on Jadon Sancho, on Rasmus Hojlund, Donnarumma. They've been the topics tonight, everyone. So please do get into the comment section on these. Sir Alex would be having kittens if he had those options in his midfield. Where is the enforcer, the strength and determination? We are a soft touch in that department. Looked a bit lightweight, didn't it? Last night, it really did. By the way, everyone, we're going to talk a little bit about the game after this show. In fact, we're going to be over on Big Up. The link is in the live chat right now. Click on it, completely free. Come across, sign up. That is free as well, or you can just come and watch. It's entirely up to you, but you won't be charged anything to come in. It is a free platform again, but we can do things on there that we just can't do here on YouTube. We've got tools on there that we can use and utilise, and we can get a lot of people on. Have your say, talk to me about anything you want to about Manchester United. We're going to have a good old chinwag on all of the transfers, the game last night and everything that's going down at United at the moment. We're only 27 likes away from 1,000 while live, which is absolutely awesome, everyone. So thank you again. Smash the likes, make sure you hit the subscribe button. I think Sesko would be good. Shout, still don't think Hojlund is the answer. As this squad is, United are looking at 12th place at best. No, disagree with that one. More than that. Still think we're on more than that. Like I said, I'm disappointed with last night, and it was worrying, and Ruben will be concerned with that performance from Manchester United last night. But still, when you look at it, there has been a lot of positives in there, and more positives than negatives, 100%. United did go out and win the Premier League Summer Series, so that is a positive also. By the way, I said this before, 7.5 million in Man United's bank account through competing and winning the Premier League Summer Series. That's pretty good going. Not bad work for United. So yeah, they've done well. They've done well in recouping money, United, so far this summer. I'm reckoning it with the Asia Tour and the Summer Series. I get United in and around the £37 million mark in what they've brought in already. You take Rashford's wages off that, you could add that to it. I'm not, because that's not a set fee. But if you wanted to, United are up around about the £50 million mark saved or brought in this summer alone since the season finished. So not bad business from United. And I think that's what we have got a little bit of financial freedom and are not desperately looking to sell Garnacho at a cheap price. So let's just see how much United have got. But just to round up on the Benjamin Sesko again, everyone, just to keep you completely updated, Sky Germany are now coming out and saying that Manchester United have verbally told RB Leipzig there is 80 million euros ready to go in. That's what they're going to bid if Benjamin Sesko gives them the green light. That, I think, that's the big one. Sesko. Will he or won't he? That's the thing. Hi, Adam. Enjoy your channel. Can you name 3 midfielders you would recommend? Belabor, Adam Wharton, 100% that type of player. Do you know what? Looking into the Lopez one as something different, potentially, from Barcelona. 3 young, at it, balling midfielders who have got so many different feathers in their cap to their game right there. I think that's the type of player United are looking for. Wharton can tackle. Wharton is strong. Wharton is press resistant. So too Belabor. Lopez I don't know as much about, but they would probably be three that spring to mind right now in midfield. Ederson is still at the top of my list as well as a player. I would love Ederson to come in right now. He would be top of my list and has always been top of my list when it comes to players that are, I think, ready to come to United. So we could see if that happens. So there's four really there. I would have liked Polina on loan. Thought that was a good deal to get on loan just to see us through. And I think that pretty much. There are other names there. I might be missing a few, but yeah. Let me just double check on any news that's going down. Is there any updates on Benjamin Sesko? By the way, Romano did say that United, again, in the last 3 days, have been offered Dusan Vlahovic. And the answer was a straight, fat, emphatic no. Simple as, not happening. We're fully concentrating on Benjamin Sesko. That's all she wrote when it comes to Manchester United and Dusan Vlahovic. Whether or not we revisit it, if we don't get Benjamin Sesko, time will tell. But our time right now is up here on Forever United TV, here on YouTube. We're going to cross over to Forever United TV on Big Up. We're going to do a call-in show, get all of your thoughts. Come and talk to me and have your say. Let me know what you feel about the transfer market and everything that's happened in the tour. We'll have a good old chinwag over there as well. Thank you, mods, in the chat. Brilliant job. Everybody who's been in liking and commenting, fantastic. Let's just check the poll before we finish. 70/80 million for Benjamin Sesko. Would you go higher if needed? 4,000 votes on the poll, and it is tight. 52% of you have said you will not go higher if this bid is rejected for Benjamin Sesko. So if 70 million is not acceptable for RB Leipzig, 52% of you would say, no, we're not spending any more. Absolutely epic on that one. Thank you so much for all of your votes, everybody, on that. To hit 4,000, that is big. Cheers again, everybody. Comments, fantastic. Super chatters, love you all. Come across now onto Big Up. That link right there in the live chat. I've pinned it at the top. I'll see you over there where we talk about more Manchester United stuff, but give you your say. Like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you all later, everyone.